All right, here we are, ready for sections 1.5 and 1.6. So we're actually not going to do key terms today. We're just going to jump right into our example problems. So one of the things that you kind of have to get in the habit of doing in math is solving equations. That's all we're doing today, is solving equations for x, or whatever the variable is. Okay? So, here we go. Solve. So the first one that we're going to solve is x minus 18 equals 22. For those of you who just tuned in, we are practicing yelling in the classroom today so that the mic can pick up the questions. So, can somebody tell me x minus 18 equals 22? Can somebody tell me how we would go about solving this for x? Let's see. Julia, yell.
You have to subtract 18.
Okay, good. So now so 18 is already being subtracted from that side. So go ahead, Julia.
You have to add 18. You have to add it to 22.
Good. So you always have to do the opposite of what's being done. If you're going to add 18 to one side, you have to add it to the other. So negative 18 plus 18 is 0. And x equals, this comes out to, what's 22 plus 18? Everybody yell it out. What's 22 plus 18?
40.
That's good. Okay. All right. Nicely done. Questions on that one? Okay. So we're going to test it out. After we're done with our video, we're going to watch it back and see if we can hear everybody. 3t equals 21. All right. 3t equals 21. So this says 3 times t. So you're looking for what operations are being done currently to the variable that you're solving for, and you want to do the opposite of what's being done. So this says 3 times t equals 21. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So we are dividing both sides by 3, and t equals what?
7.
Now you're all being shy. Remember, we are an art school. You don't have to be shy just because a camera's rolling in here. Okay. 1/4, I know how much you all love fractions. So this is my gift to you today. 1/4 x equals 9. 1/4 x equals 9. So raise your hand if you have some idea about how to solve this problem. I'm not going to call on you if you don't want me to, but if you think you know where to go with this, but even if you're not quite sure yet. Okay? Keep your hand raised if you would like to tell me how to do this problem. Okay, Sydney? Yeah. Yay. Go ahead.
You times it by 4.
Perfect. You times it by 4. How did you know to times by 4?
Because it's division.
Okay, good. Okay, so 1/4 x is the same thing as x divided by 4. That's one way. So multiply both sides by 4. So that cancels out and we get x equals 36. Did anyone have a different way of approaching it? Tiani?
Would you turn the 9 into a fraction and put it over 1?
Oh, you could do that too. So Tiani is talking about, let me make sure you can see this. Tiani is talking about turning the 9 into a fraction. Are you thinking proportion and the cross? That's another way. Yeah, that's another way of doing it too. Perfect. Okay, questions? All right. All right, x plus 5 equals 16. Was there a question out there somewhere? Rebel? Sure. Yell.
Okay. First off, you have to subtract the 5 from 16.
Good.
That's not funny.
It is a little fun.
Hey, Apple.
Okay. So, now Rebel, how do you know you have to subtract 5 instead of do some other operation with it?
Because you have to do the opposite of what it says to do. And that's adding. So you subtract.
Good. So, do the opposite of what's being done. So 16 minus 5 is what?
11.
Nicely done.
Boom.
How many people think we'll be able to hear Rebel on the video?
I do.
I am very excited to watch that and see what it looks like. Okay. All right, how are we doing on questions, you guys? You all are watching the time, yes? We are at 4 minutes, 47 seconds. Can you all see that up there? 51 seconds. Good. Okay. Here we go. So let's get into some that have multiple operations here. 4x minus 12 equals 60. 4x minus 12 equals 60. Okay, so we have a couple of different steps in this problem. Everybody take a look at it. Get an idea in your head about what you think the first step would be. Okay? Right, wrong, or indifferent. What you think the first step would be, and raise your hand when you have some idea about what to do. First, I'm not going to call on you unless you want me to, but raise your hand if you think you know what to do first in this problem. So, for our viewers at home, there are a lot of people with their hands raised. Okay. Okay, keep your hand raised if you would like to volunteer what we have to do. Christian, right?
You have to plus the 12 on each side.
Okay, good. Now, Christian, how did you know to add 12 first?
Because then we can get the x alone.
Okay, good. Then we can get the x by itself. Good. Okay, so we get 4x equals 72. Okay? So here's where we are. Again, everybody take a look at it. Raise your hand if you think you have some idea about what to do next. I'm not, okay, for those of us who are a little nervous about that, I'm not going to call on you unless you want me to. Okay, so raise your hand if you think you know what to do here. This is saying 4 times x equals 72. Remember, we always want to do the opposite of what's being done. So get in your mind what the opposite of timesing or multiplying is. Raise your hand when you have an idea. I'm not going to call on you. Again, for our viewers at home, we have several people with their hands up right now. Okay, so keep your hand raised if you'd like to tell me what to do next. Karis.
Oh,
That's okay.
You divide 72 by 4.
Good. So divide by 4 on both sides. When you divide 72 by 4, you end up with 18. Very good. All right, how are we doing on questions, you guys? Okay. Am I okay to take this paper away, or are people still using it? I may remove the paper. Okay, good. All right. So here we go. Let's do a couple more here. Can we see that? Okay, good. All right, so 5 minus 4a equals a minus 13. 5 minus 4a equals a minus 13. All right. Now what? So in the last several problems, we've only had one variable in existence in the problem. This one's a little bit different because we've got an a on the left and an a on the right. Right? So, anybody have any ideas about where we might start this one? And I'll say, there are 4 different options here. So if you're thinking, if right now in your brain you're getting like opposites going, like the opposite of subtraction is addition, the opposite of one thing is another, that's a good starting point. Courtney.
Well, I would add 13 on each side first.
Okay. Good. That works. That's good. Why did you choose to do that?
Because it leaves the a alone so that you can then do all the problems on one side.
Good. Okay. So 18 minus 4a equals a. So 5 plus 13 is 18. And then we just bring down the negative 4a. Everybody tell me if I am going too slow and you feel like I'm going too slow or too fast. I'm going too slow.
Yes.
A couple people with their hands up feel like we're going too slow. Okay. All right. What next? So if the goal is to get all of the A's on one side and all of the non-A's on the other side, we have 2 A's here and they're on opposite sides. So how would we get one of them to the opposite side? What would we do? Jessica?
Add 4a.
Good. Add 4a to both sides. So we get 18 equals 5a. Okay? Now what? And just because the a is on the opposite side from what we're used to seeing, it doesn't mean that there's anything that we do differently. Okay? So, raise your hand if you think you know what to do next. Again, I will not call on you unless you want me to. Raise your hand if you think you know what to do. That way I can kind of gauge where everybody is. Okay, keep your hand raised if you'd like to volunteer what to do. Juliana? Perfect. Divide by 5. How did you know to divide by 5? Perfect. Okay, good. Now, I don't know how Mr. Humphreys does things. If you have something like this, you can leave it in that format as an improper fraction. Okay? Those of us who are extra excited about math, You can turn it into a mixed number if you want, or you can turn it into a decimal, but you don't have to. You do, though, if you end up with something that can be reduced, you want to reduce. So if you get like 12 over 14 and you can divide a 2 out of both of them, you want to do that. Okay? All right, how are we doing on questions? Okay, everybody show me where we are. So this is good so far, I'm understanding it, so-so, or this is not the best and I don't understand what's going on. Okay, wait. Scratch the this is not the best part, because I know how you all feel about math, but this means you don't understand what's going on. Okay, lots of thumbs up for our viewers at home. Okay, so let's do we want to do another one of these, or do we feel pretty comfortable with solving equations? We're fine. Okay. Okay. I'm going to bring in one more because it involves exponents, and I want to make sure that you guys are okay with that. So 2 to the third power times x minus 16 equals 2 to the second power times x plus 5. So 2 to the third power times x minus 16 equals 2 squared times x plus 5. Okay, you can look at this and it's almost kind of a trick question. Why is it a trick question? Anybody have any ideas? Well, okay, so can we figure out, how many people can tell me how much 2 to the third power is? What does it mean to the third power? Good. 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is? Times 2 is 8. So 2 to the third power times x is the same thing as 8x. Okay, 2 squared is? Okay, so now we're back to the same thing that we've been doing all along. So, can somebody tell me what the first step, what one first step might be in this problem? Bunch of different ways we can go, but what's one way we can go? Zoe. Good. Add 16 to both sides. So we're left with 8x on the left, and then 4x plus 21 on the right. Perfect. Okay? Then where would we go from here? Somebody who has not volunteered yet today. Is it Chris? Go ahead. Perfect. Subtract 4x. So 4x equals 21. Last up, someone who has not volunteered yet today? No one? Okay. Divide by 4. Good. So x equals now. In the last problem, remember I said you can leave it as an improper fraction. If we leave it as an improper fraction, our answer is what? 21/4. Again, for those of us who are really excited to do more math, we could turn that into a mixed number or a decimal if we wanted to, but you just don't have to do it unless you really want to. All right. I have another gift for you all today. The first one was fractions. I know how much you all, so you can see what type of a gift we have coming up. Next one is a word problem.
Oh, God.
Can I take this away? Is anyone still using it? Let's save the word problem for the next video since we're approaching 15 minutes.